On this episode of Hide the Money, ever wonder how wealthy people go bankrupt multiple times in their lifetime, yet still end up basically back where they started? And honestly, it's hiding in plain sight. You're familiar with the term Internal Revenue Code, aren't you? IRC, aka tax code. Well, guess what? There's a tax code for almost everything. Back in the early 1900s, around 1913 though, there were some special tax codes that were created. And at first, I don't really think when the government created these that they thought it would go this way. But it did, so let's get into it. So, like I said, back in 1913, the government came out with a couple IRCs that would really come in handy when it comes to actually protecting and hiding your money from the IRS, government, or any other legal situations. These two IRCs are IRC 72 Section E and IRC 7702 specifically Section A, when specifically talking about growing money tax-free and taking it out tax-free. Now picture yourself, let's say out in a field, and there's a tornado coming. So you're looking around to find some shelter, and you see a house, you see a barn. You're like, maybe not. It's probably not going to protect me from most of what's going to happen. But then you see a storm shelter. So of course you're going to choose a storm shelter. Well, once you get inside the storm shelter, there's a lot of protection, right? To the effect of, once you get in that storm shelter, 9 times out of 10, or would you say 99 out of 100, you're going to be protected from anything that happens dealing with that tornado. But once you come outside of the storm shelter and you see all the damage and everything that's been leveled, you come to realize that you are protected from a storm that you could not control. Now let me tie that analogy into what's going on today. So of course you've been watching the TV, you see our economy, things are getting more expensive, right? Cost of living, inflation, rent, groceries, you name it. Also, we're seeing taxes trend up as well. Now, remember I mentioned to you that those two tax codes that were created way back then, over 100 years ago, were actually created to protect your money. They're like rich kids because their parents are life insurance. So they're in a special club. So essentially, by using those tax codes, remember, which lets you grow your money tax-free and take it out tax-free. It's like that storm shelter that I just described, right? So anything that's going on outside, taxes, cost of living, inflation, because typically what you average in gains outpaces inflation and cost of living, does not affect your money under those tax codes inside your storm shelter. Also, I want to point out something that a lot of people don't think about because you use it every day and you just don't think that you need protection from it. Guess what that is? It's a bank. Now, why would I tell you you need protection from a bank, right? You use it because you feel like it's safe. You can store your money there whenever you need it to pay bills or whatever you're using it for, it's going to be there. Well, guess what? That's not a guarantee. Let me explain to you how banks work. So banks are the middleman, right? So you have us that put our money into banks, but guess who actually backs banks up because they do not even have the money that they say they have? Insurance companies. So in the event a bank is in trouble or is going under or actually goes out of business, right? Goes bankrupt, who is at stake? It's the person that had a bank account with the bank. Now, of course, we know about FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. We understand that that's going to protect our money up to $250,000. But also, did you know that if that was you losing up to $250,000, that bank does not have to pay that back immediately? Matter of fact, they don't have it like that, and they got to wait to get it, so they're probably not going to pay all that immediately. Also, if you have more than $250,000 at a bank, you're definitely not guaranteed to get all that back. So you're probably asking yourself, Kristen, well, what do you mean? Where else do we put the money? And why would I not keep it there? Because what other place is there? So what you can do is definitely keep money at a bank, but not too much money at a bank. Because like I said, when things happen or something out of your control goes on in our country, especially in our economy and with the way things are going on now, you want to be able to have access to your money, and only you have access to that money. Guess who has access to your money in banks? Well, the government has access, debtors have access, the bank has access. So more than just you has access to your money in your bank. Now, if you had an account with insurance companies, guess who has access to your account there? Only you. So wouldn't it make sense to not keep all of your money in a facility where they can actually touch your money? Or if they go under, they can pay you back, but over time. Wouldn't it make sense to actually keep some of that money somewhere else where only you have access to it? By the way, insurance companies are way safer than banks because they actually have the money. So circling back around to when I said, why do you think wealthy people have gone bankrupt so many times in their lives? Guess what they do? They put the money under those tax codes that you can only get with insurance companies, 72 Section E, 7702 Section A, and then they file for bankruptcy. That money cannot be touched legally by anything but them. Genius, isn't it? So now that you know, there's a way to hide your money where only you have access to it and only you can touch it no matter what's going on, including bankruptcy. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? That's why I tell you, hide the money. Disclaimer, of course, this strategy isn't for everyone. If you are interested, though, to see if this strategy is something that you can use in your financial portfolio, click the link in the video description down below. It'll take you to a calendar. You can schedule a time to meet with me, and we can see if this type of strategy is right for you. Hide the money.